It's July 13th and the garden was looking really jungly this week. I had a lot of work, but I've been kind of cleaning it up and getting kind of my last fall items planted this week. And stuff is finally really starting to fruit and produce a lot, so that's been really fun. I pulled all the potatoes from this bed yesterday and then refertilized it, and I planted some carrots, just the remaining carrots that I had. I don't know if they'll survive until fall, but we're gonna give that a try. And then the other thing I just planted yesterday was some more green beans in this spot. This is where I had the broccoli growing, and so you can see there are green beans behind it already. Other things I've done, I've replaced my lettuces with some green onions I started inside, and then this is another lavender lady. And when I pulled out all of my spinach, except for one I left there that's bolting right now, I planted some more carrots here, so I keep thinning those out. I've gotten rid of the peas. We were still getting a few peas, but they tasted really bad. They were getting too bitter. And I took a lot of the kale out, but I left some of the kale in. So you can see now that has allowed these Mexican sunflowers to really come out. Gosh, these are so pretty. Over here, the watermelon is putting out some little watermelons. Unfortunately, Gus pulled the first decent sized watermelon off the plant because he likes to play with them. And then we got some cosmos here. Not many blooms. They're kind of come and go with the blooms. And then the zucchini monster has been producing. Backside of the garden definitely has the most change. The cactus zinnias are absolutely gorgeous. I had no idea what a beautiful flower this was. I only planted like 4 of them. They're so gorgeous. And then on the other side, I have the giant purple zinnias, which I don't know if you can tell on the video, but like the color is unreal. These are definitely like one of the sleeper hits of the summer. So pretty. And then in between them, I have the sakura melon. We've got cantaloupe, mini cantaloupe back there, and cherry tomato, oregano, and some peppers, some hot peppers. And then some dwarf sunflowers. I think I don't know, they're taking quite a while. And then lemongrass, I think intermixed with real grass. This side of the garden is kind of the jungle because everything is really tall, and the African marigolds that I planted are huge and they're really beautiful. Some of them are orange and then some of them are yellow, but you can see there are tons of blooms. Here's some yellow ones. They're really fuzzy. My tomatoes are in this mess. I've basically got 2 tomatoes lined up on each cage, but this is just like a temporary steel cage I put in, but you can't even see. But the good news is I've done a little bit of trimming, but not a lot, because this angle right here, we get a lot of wind coming off. Luckily our neighbor planted corn this year, so we do have a corn fence, which is helping a little bit with the wind. But we can get some really strong winds, and keeping them really bushy has helped. And also this new cage Tyler made is fantastic. You can see we've got some Amish paste starting to come through, but I am keeping them incredibly bushy to help with the wind. This is sweet potato, which again, we're just gonna keep our fingers crossed that we have 100 days above 70. I think it could happen. Just letting it go wild back here. and it's next to some carrots. I don't know if that was a good idea or a bad idea, but it is what it is. And then the archway has buttercup squash on it, and this plant has been insanely large. Let's see if I can you see there's some squash forming there. I've had to trim this back multiple times. And then we've got some cucumbers on the other side. Just picked my first cucumbers the other day. That's in with the green beans. Okay, I think one of my mistakes has been I planted calendula in with my peppers, along with some more African marigolds. Ironically, they seem to color coordinate themselves. So the two I planted over here are both yellow. And then I have a yellow one on this side too, and the other ones are orange. I don't really like the calendula. I don't like how it spreads out the way it does, and I've pulled some of them out. I also don't think they're really attracting much for pollinators, so I don't think I'll do calendula again. But so it's caused some competition here with my bell peppers, but they're starting to get a few peppers on it. They tend to be late. Yeah, in there. And these are some carrots. This whole area is it's a bee magnet in the mornings. And then lots of chamomile coming in, which is great. This is the last year for this strawberry bed. I keep pulling the violas, the Johnny Jump Ups, and clover out of here. And then I don't know what this is. So this is something new that has been planting itself all around the garden this year. Anyone know what this is? You'd have to come to my blog to tell me. I don't know what kind of weed this is. It's very bizarre looking. Those two raspberries are first year. They seem to be doing pretty good. And then my coriander's already bolting because it's been pretty hot. And some of my onions have fallen over, so they're probably ready to pick. There's also something super weird with this mint plant. So it received some hail damage and it's having some pest damage as well, but it doesn't smell like mint. I just got this from a seed packet at the local hardware store when I couldn't find any chocolate mint anywhere. And so I'm not harvesting it and drying it because I don't know, since it doesn't have a minty smell, I feel like there's something off about this. I don't know if there's something wrong with the seed. I don't know if it's actually something else and not mint, but that has been interesting. And the blackberries are going absolutely crazy. Like there's one. And here's the other, look at that. But I don't want to tie them up. I feel like this year I want to leave them bush-like. And then in the spring, I will tie up the old canes and then let the new ones just bush out so that I can tell which ones are supposed to fruit if they survive. Anyway, we still got a lot of stuff that's kind of later weather stuff. Stuff really started coming out after the 4th of July. I've got a lot of melons, tomatoes, peppers, that sort of thing. But it's been really great. It just looks crazy there. Anyway, there's the orchard over there. Everything's still doing pretty good. All right, so a couple of things. One, I'm loving the flowers. It's so wonderful to have all these flowers, and it doesn't seem to be really impacting my yields because I don't need absolutely insane amounts of food to stay for the whole year, I've discovered. And that's been really, really fun just to see all of the flowers. And then secondly, I really didn't think about heights when I was planting because I was just thinking about like I planted this here last year, so I can't plant this the next year. So a lot of my tall stuff is all on the west side of the garden, and my shorter stuff is on the east. And I think I need to consider about like varying heights a little bit. It's interestingly made for some cooler spots and some shaded spots, which I think has helped things grow quite a bit, which I really like. Oh, there is some sort of caterpillar over there. This guy is desperately trying to climb up into the garden bed. This is hilarious. What are you doing there, little caterpillar? Anyway, thanks for stopping by to see the jungle of the July garden. Really excited for some of the melons and stuff that takes a little bit longer to come out as well. I have so many potatoes. It's super exciting. All right, see you next month.